Hello and welcome to a brand new installment of the Nintendo News Report for Friday, April 26, 2019. I'm Donald Terriel, and we have a very full show tonight, so we're going to skip over a lot of the formalities and go once we get the introductions out of the way, and it's straight into the news. So I'm here with NNR regular Zach Miller. Hello, Zach.
Hello.
How bad is the snow right now?
It finally melted. And it's
wonderful.
it's like 56 right now. It's warm. Just
Wow,
has to stay this way.
It's warmer than it is even here. I think we're in like the 30s right now.
But do you have snow?
No.
Yeah,
Although I think my parents had drifts up to about my neck, so
oh, cool.
yeah.
None of
And
that.
yeah, and as we work our way east from Southern California, Mr. Brian Rose. Hello, Brian.
I wish it was like 50 degrees right now, but now it's like touching 100 now. It's not even the end of April yet.
I don't know what's worse.
I want to live in Alaska right now because I'm not ready for the rest of
I
summer.
suppose you can always just put on another layer if it's too cold.
Yeah. No, I'm ready to like move.
So am I.
You two have a trade for a few weeks. See how it goes.
Yeah, like swap.
Maybe tonight Brian will be our Alex Kalafi sweating pounds off in real time from that one show so long ago.
It's probably possible. This room gets really hot when the sun goes down, and the sun is going down right now.
Oh, geez.
So.
And our final guest tonight will be joining me and Brian in boiling our what's off in June at E3. Mr. Matthew Zawodniak.
Well, that's me. And you guys are like, oh man, the temperature here is so crazy. The temperature here is so crazy. I got a tornado warning out there.
Oh, wow.
Did we pick a bad night to do this?
No.
You have us beat.
No, it's whatever. It's just that's what South Jersey's just like. Sometimes you just get tornado warnings after a tsunami, and then it's 50 degrees, and then the next day it's 70 degrees, and the next day it's back down to 50. Weather means nothing here. If you're a meteorologist in South Jersey, you need a better career.
If you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes; it'll change.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes, and Jerry Goblin already calling us out for Nintendo Sweat Report. So let's sweat the big stuff here. Nintendo's big move of the week was they announced their annual earnings for the April to March fiscal year at 3:00 in the morning Eastern time. There are 4 nights a year in which I hate this job, and it's every time Nintendo releases their earnings. But the numbers are quite big. They had almost $2 billion adjusted for exchange rate in revenue, $2 billion US. So for the year, 1.2 trillion yen.
It's a lot of money dollars.
That is that's what they call the 4 comma club. Operating income equivalent to 2.2 billion at current market rates. I think it came out to like 1.9 with the rates that Nintendo was using. Digital sales about $1 billion for the year, which not very impressive compared to what Sony was putting up, but I think it's their biggest digital sales year ever. And the Switch is up to 34.74 million systems, which they are past the N64. If they meet their expectations for shipments this year, they will pass the Super Nintendo and be on to the NES.
Wow.
Those are big numbers.
Yeah.
And the Switch will never catch on. It's just a fad.
So you're saying it's already beat Wii U?
It beat Wii U in its first year. I think it might have beat Wii U in its first calendar year.
I think Smash Brothers alone is about to beat Wii U.
No, it has. Smash Brothers Ultimate, Nintendo. It is life to date shipments 13.8 million, which means yes, it has passed the Wii U at 13.5. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe almost at a very nice 16.69 million copies. Breath of the Wild just on Switch, 12.7 million. And Mario U Deluxe, that little port that they put out in January, which I think was their last first-party Switch game for over 2 months, 3.3 million copies shipped, over 2.5 million sold.
Well, evidently $60. Not too much.
What's that compared to the Wii U version? Just out of curiosity.
I believe it was 5 million for just New Super Mario U. I'll double check that.
That's lifetime sales too.
That for the Wii U version, that's lifetime sales.
They will beat that. No problem.
I think at this point if they haven't doubled Mario Kart 8, the original, they will probably do it when we get the next financial report in June.
Jeez.
The latest sales numbers, according to so as of March 31st, 2019, the Wii U version is at 5.79 million, according to their financial results from. Well, I think it's from this financial results, apparently.
Yeah, so that was updated. So they are more than halfway there in about 2.5 months.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And Mario Kart 8, 8.44 million on Wii U. So they have probably already doubled that.
Well, it's a good time to be a Nintendo stockholder right now.
Absolutely. These are insane numbers. I wouldn't have guessed these numbers so fast, so soon, especially for Mario Brothers U.
Mario Brothers U is kind of surprising, especially with people were like, "Oh, they're selling this for $60. Is it worth $60?" And evidently, the answer is yes.
Apparently, the answer is yes.
Probably a lot of these people buying it just never bought it the first time because they didn't have a Wii U.
I'm in that category. I bought it and I didn't buy it on Wii U.
There's a 20 million potential Switch owners who are literally subscribing to the philosophy of, "Oh, we haven't seen it. It's new to us."
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same category as Mario Kart 8 too. There's a lot of Wii U games I didn't buy for the Wii U, and now I'm ending up buying them on a Switch because it's, I guess, just the handheld kind of aspect to it. The accessibility is just there more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I had a Wii U and I never bought Tropical Freeze, for example, and I ended up buying that on Switch. I double dipped on Hyrule Warriors. I'm real close to double dipping on Mario U. I double dipped on Mario Kart 8. It's just they're great games that they're finding a new audience, and the old audience is showing up too. These are games that are going to keep selling, and complain as people might that we're getting a lot of ports. They're not going anywhere.
It's working for them.
Yeah, and so the only real negative thing that came, slightly negative thing that came out of this was that Nintendo had set their goal for the fiscal year. Originally, they had set it to 20 million, and then after Christmas, they reset it to 17 million. They fell 50,000 units short, but that means they only shipped about 2.4 million systems in the first quarter of the year. Mild conspiracy theory here. They're short shipping the Switch to the point that it's going to run out, and then they drop the reduced size Switch.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. That seems a little weird since they're not hitting their sales goals, but also I feel like, isn't this like the third time that despite having really impressive numbers, they missed their sales goals? Maybe they're just setting their sales goals like unrealistically high.
Because consider that, last fiscal year, they basically did nothing for 2 months. Then they had Mario Tennis, Octopath, and Captain Toad. Took another couple of months off, and then went in with Mario Party, Pokemon, Smash Brothers. So I think, if they had even, if there was one more thing in there, then maybe they would have hit the revised goal, because because like I said, they had it at 20. The goal was originally 20 for the year, but then they dropped it down slightly. They cut it by about 15% when it became obvious they weren't going to reach that. And and honestly, when they had it at 17, I figured, okay, yeah, based on how they did the same quarter last year, when they didn't have something as big as Mario U Deluxe, they shipped like almost 3 million systems in that quarter. So I figured, okay, yeah, they'll make that 17 million easily. It's rounding error where they fell short, but it's still, they missed it by 50,000 systems.
They'll make up the difference with Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Sword and Shield, you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have
Pokemon
two
brings the money dollars.
friends who are waiting to buy a Switch until Pokemon comes out.
Yeah, Pokemon and Animal Crossing, I think, are the two big ones that they were
yeah.
pointing to as stuff for this year.
Oh, definitely.
And Luigi, right? Or is that spring?
I wouldn't say Luigi's as big as Animal Crossing and Pokemon, but that'll definitely make a splash for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like, because I mean, what did Dark Moon do? Like 5 million on 3DS?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's an impressive number. Yeah.
So even if you allot for the fact that it's going to be $60 instead of 40, that's probably what, 3 or 4 million right there.
Yeah.
See, Dark Moon sales are, as of September 2017, 5.45 million.
Yeah. So that there's definitely a market for that. And it's not, it doesn't have it's not going to have to carry the system the same way that Mansion did for a little bit. But it just before the investor briefing that they have the day after they do every earnings release in Japan, they put a simple one-sentence statement out confirming something that had been rumored for several weeks beforehand. The Switch is going to China with the help of Tencent, the Chinese conglomerate who actually released a game on Switch and also are the owners of Epic.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So
it's a fair bit more money is going to come from there.
I think that's the biggest video game kind of company conglomerate really in China, right? I think there's them and somebody else.
Oh, Tencent's the everything in China, really.
Tencent or NetEase, I think, is the other one you're thinking of?
NetEase. That's the other one I'm thinking of. I think those are two of the bigger ones in the country.
I think largely the idea is that if you're doing business in China, you're doing business with Tencent.
With Tencent, yeah.
Yeah, and you have to do business with a Chinese company because their regulations state they have to have a Chinese publisher.
Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo would say at the investor briefing that they don't know they're not expecting any impact from that this year. But so that's why I think that's why their estimate was only like 18.5 million systems. But if that's well marketed in China, then that could they could pull up some pretty big numbers. But maybe not, because the console market in China is still relatively light compared to what you would see on PC or mobile there.
Yeah, it's I think the big thing there is mobile as opposed to consoles or PC or things like that. I think the mobile gaming scene is way more, I guess, mainstream than the console. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Like a lot, they have there's a lot, obviously everybody in China seemingly has a smartphone, or at least there's enough people there that would have access to those games that you can there's plenty of money to be made on those.
Yeah, I think it's a smart idea to go into there, because I mean, if you do get something that catches fire, I mean, China's economy, I mean, I've heard stuff about China's economy not being that great, but it's still like a big economy. And if something catches fire
economies on Earth.
Definitely. It's right up there with the United States. And if something catches fire there, it's could do really well, and that could be big news for Nintendo down the line.
Yeah. Cherry Goblin asked, how are they going to handle piracy in China? Well, I mean, like Matt said as well in the chat, that's that's baked in at this point. It's already happening.
If piracy in China is going to happen, it already is. So if they sell one copy in China and the rest goes to pirates, that's still an improvement.
Yeah. And that's why I think that's why Nintendo's sort of saying, hey, this isn't going to be a big deal for us right now. But there's probably you see pretty good sales for things like Call of Duty in Japan because of expatriates. I wonder how much of that's going to be a factor. Because I think there's probably a lot of American expats that are living in China or at least working there.
Oh, interesting.
And plus so much of and there's a lot of it that's tied to, like, will they have Nintendo Switch Online in China? We don't know.
Oh, that's a good question, actually.
I had not even considered that. Yeah.
If they do, it's going to be some weird handicapped version.
Does it need to be handicapped, or will it just be like...
or will it just be Nintendo Switch Online, which is handicapped to begin with?
That's true.
I think if they have regulations on communication, well, there's not a lot of communication in Nintendo Switch Online.
That's true, too.
Although, third parties are using it for voice chat now. We heard that famous AMA holders, THQ Nordic, shout out to Mark, are doing voice chat through the app for Saints Row the Third when it comes out next month.
I think them in Mortal Kombat 11, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I completely forgot about the voice chat until I was reading something and it came up. I'm like, oh, okay, that's still a thing.
I have had a surprising amount of exposure to the voice chat, but that's mostly because I'm on a part-time Splatoon team, and we mainly get together for Splatfest, so we have our coordination that way.
Yeah,
have you heard of Discord?
One of the players doesn't have the same access to having the computer right next to the TV where the Switch is.
That's fair.
That would be my problem too.
Yeah. So during the investor call, Nintendo laid out their E3 plans. Basically, it's pretty much what we've seen since 2013. They're not going to be doing the full dog and pony show, book an auditorium and schlep us all over to it. We're going to be getting a video, but I think the interesting thing that they said in that is that they're going to be focusing on titles that are coming out in this fiscal year. So normally we see Nintendo talk about stuff that's coming out before the next E3. In this case, we're looking at stuff that's coming out before the end of March.
So Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, if they have any clue of what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
I think if we look at the trend that this year is going in, that may not be a very big difference. Not a huge difference between E3 this year and the end of the fiscal year this year for game releases.
Yeah.
Because they showed Mario got announced in September, I think, and that delayed direct, and then it came out in January. So, but they still are saying, even with the the full lineup, because don't forget they've got the Link's Awakening remake coming out this year.
Oh yeah.
But they still said also that they have games that have not been announced that are going to be coming out in this fiscal year. So who knows? Although I think because three of the four people on this call are going to E3, so I don't know about you, Matt, but I'm going to run straight for the one Fire Emblem booth they're going to have there.
Isn't it? It's going to be real close to being out, right?
It's out in July and the month after.
Yeah. So another thing that got announced right before the earnings came out, is that Mario Maker 2, June 28th.
Wow, that is soon.
That's a lot sooner than I thought it would be out.
Well, they said it was coming in June. I was honestly afraid that it was going to come out like the Friday of E3.
Yeah.
Or worse, the Friday before.
And it's out today.
They are putting all these games right up against each other, and like I'm gonna have to. I don't have that much money. I'm gonna have to pick and choose which ones I'm getting here. I'm gonna have to miss out on some premier Nintendo games because I just cannot play that many games.
I already have like the super fancy version of Fire Emblem pre-ordered, so I guess I'm gonna have to do Mario Maker 2 if that that special edition with the stylus gets announced here.
Yeah,
Because it's been announced for Europe and Japan, but not for North America.
hell, Australia's getting it.
Them too?
Yep.
All the other territories get the cool stuff. We really don't.
Everybody except us.
Yeah,
Right
you can
now.
wrap your Hyrule Warriors scarf around it.
Okay.
Yeah. So for those keeping score at home, we have Mario Maker 2 June 28th. We have Dragon Quest Builders 2 on July 12th. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is on July 19th, and then Fire Emblem on the 26th. We've also got the Wolfenstein Youngblood coming out the same day as Fire Emblem. We've got God Eater 3. The Space A-Hole game got announced for Switch. That'll be out July 2nd. And yeah, like
I like that.
I'm running out. Like, forget the money for this. I don't have time for more than one or two of those games.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm taking a week off in August, and most of that's probably going to be me strapping myself into this couch and playing Fire Emblem until my ears bleed.
Same. I'm very excited for that game. It looks cool. I like the concept.
I like the concept. I like that you have cats.
But can you pet them?
Good question.
That's a good question.
I am going to stay optimistic.
Well, it got announced in Famitsu this week that they're doing the reversing of time thing that was used in a version of it that was used in Shadows of Valentia.
Which is good. That's very good.
Yeah. Now, all we need to do is get confirmation that the fact that you're working in a school means you'll have new people coming in all the time and you won't have to have a second generation.
And please don't date your students.
Oh.
It's going to happen. I think we all know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're in a post-anime Emblem world.
Well, you're either going to date the students or you're going to date the mysterious girl who's probably a dragon.
Neither of those is good, and I expect both of them to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm actually not excited about either of those games, Mario Maker or Fire Emblem. So I'm happy to be not spending that money.
I might get Mario Maker, but I mean, like, Fire Emblem's way more on the priority list.
Fire Emblem is also way more expensive for us, Brian, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because I'm down for I'm getting that limited edition too. That'll be a nice little bonus for myself, I think. But
I have embraced the digital future.
Yeah, this is like the one time of the year where I'm going to buy a special edition, unless Pokemon gets a special edition.
I'm sure it'll get a special edition. Oh, you kidding me?
It probably very likely, absolutely will.
You'll get the traditional. You can get both versions and a bunch of healing items for $140 or $120.
Maybe,
I don't know. Game Freak's just a small indie company. I don't know if they can afford that.
Maybe it'll come with the Steelbook.
Yeah. Steelbooks are cool.
I'm a sucker for a Steelbook.
Yeah.
And Zach, we all know what RPG you're buying in that season anyway.
Help me out here.
It's the one that if you send me the review code, I will give the game a 0.
Wow.
That's right. It's coming out this summer. Oh.
I believe it actually I think it got a date, actually.
I think it did get a date, yeah.
I would like to buy a vowel. I'm not so sure on this one.
No. It's a big series on the Vita.
Oh,
very anime is happening with waifus.
Is this Senran Kagura?
Well,
No.
that pinball game's coming out here too, but no, this is a separate waifu game.
This is the one that has parodies of video game systems.
Oh, it's Neptunia?
Yeah, Nep.
Oh my god, I completely missed that. I didn't even know.
I haven't heard of Neptunia. I thought it was Sega Kagura or whatever it's called.
No, that's a different one. There are surprisingly
I know that one.
more than one.
I actually bought Senran Kagura 1 and 2 on 3DS. I don't mind them, but it's it's the dealing with the underage females that I have a huge issue with. That's why we have a game that's marked as canceled on our website right now.
Well, I mean, to be fair, in Senran in Japan, they're all in high school. In North America, they're in college.
And we'll
Age of
pretend
consent in Japan is 16.
Oh, I don't want to hear that. Oh, man. Don't ruin this series for me.
I'll pretend you said 18.
Uh,
Oh God, sorry, Brian.
I know. I know
Welcome
that
to Anime
reference.
World Report.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back to Nintendo stuff here. There's going to be a beta for Mario Kart Tour. Nintendo only is accepting invites now. We have a story on the website about this. If you want to sign up, you need to be in the US or Japan, and you need to have you need to be on Android.
Nice.
Hey,
Screw you, Apple.
I am astonished. We still don't know the first thing about this game.
Yeah, that's
I know,
true.
I'm surprised there's no screenshots or even like a basic idea of what it is.
We find out about these mobile games like I think the most lead time we've ever had on one of these mobile games was for Dragalia, and we got like a month's notice as to what that game actually was because it's a brand new IP.
Yeah, well, we'll find out soon enough, but who knows? Who knows?
Unfortunately, I am an Apple person, so I'm out of this beta.
You got Miitomo first. Not Miitomo. You got Mario Run first. It's whatever.
That was fun.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I got. I would have signed up, but I'm not in the US, so.
Oh yeah.
I'll make sure to let you know.
Yeah. Also, it's probably going to be NDA'd to hell anyway.
Yeah, I guess so.
I would assume so.
Yeah. You get your gotcha for car parts and drivers. Enjoy your pink gold Bowsette.
There has to be
cannot wait.
gotcha somewhere in this game.
Look,
I
like that.
Look, the kind of character variations that you need in a gacha game is the perfect time for them to go to Bowsette. It's just a missed opportunity if they don't.
How is Bowsette not in like guesting in Fire Emblem Heroes?
Because Fire Emblem Heroes gives characters, it doesn't take them. Because you have 500-600 characters you have to go through at some point. So
God!
Why would you break the crossover barrier?
I just really need Meta Knight in Fire Emblem Heroes so I can recreate the Subspace Emissary. That's all I need.
Well, I mean, let's face it, Fire Emblem is a Smash Brothers spinoff.
Yeah, that's true.
Why you hurt me like this?
At this point, yeah. It virtually is.
I mean, the only reason we have Fire Emblem games in North America is because people really liked Roy. And then they don't even bring Roy's game over.
That's because Roy's the worst, and that's the worst game until Fates.
I still want to play it, because I really like the first Fire Emblem game.
You mean like the
the Game Boy, the first one in North America.
No, that one's really good. But Roy's game, though, I couldn't be bothered to finish it with cheats.
Poor Roy.
But anyway, nowadays they're returning the favor because now there's so many Fire Emblem characters in Smash Brothers that it's just a Fire Emblem spinoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've been unlocking spirits all week in Smash Brothers, and there's a bunch of Fire Emblem characters that I see that have names. I'm like, oh, I know this is recognizable, and then I have no idea about their backstory. I completely forgot because I played so many Fire Emblem games up to this point. They all kind of blend together, and unless it's the ones I really like.
Did you run into someone named Soth, who I believe is the
Yes.
mother of Ike's children?
Yeah. That is a familiar name.
That's the best line in the entire franchise.
Yeah.
And we actually have a recording of the voice of Ash Ketchum saying it now.
Wow.
Oh my god, I didn't know that. Oh, thank God that Veronica Taylor voices Micaiah. Anyway, welcome to Fire Emblem News Report.
We have Mario Maker 2 hype, so let's get some Fire Emblem hype going in the chat room here.
As one of my friends says every time I walk into a room and change the subject of conversation, y'all really like Fire Emblem.
Yeah, and I can't wait to get the Bastard Crusher tomorrow in Heroes. Let's see here. We have more sales news. This one out of the US. The NPD survey came out on Tuesday. The Switch apparently had the best quarter one of the generation, which, based on some of the numbers we saw for the PS4 and Xbox One in this generation, that's actually kind of shocking.
Hot damn. Switch is bringing in more than the GDP of some countries.
Yeah.
And
Probably.
And Yoshi's Crafted World apparently getting a nice bump from the tax return season. Managed to be the number 9 game in the country, despite only really being on sale for a little over a week. Although Smash Brothers was 5th, so what does that tell you?
Yeah.
I just wish there was because looking at the top 4 was like Division 2, the Sekiro, MLB, and Devil May Cry. It's like, man, I really wish we could get a good baseball game on Switch.
Oh yeah.
I don't sports ball, so
I don't either.
Maybe I'm just a little bit hype right now because my team actually has a good prospect for once. But yeah. So other than that, and we're actually now getting at least the ranking data for third-party eShop sales.
Oh, good.
So like Activision, although I don't think Activision, like, they have one game that would show up in that list. Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Because the only other, that and Diablo, because the only other game they released on the Switch was Skylanders, and that doesn't have an eShop version for obvious reasons. But we're getting them, Ubisoft, Capcom, pretty much every major name that you would expect. The only ones who don't have any are Atlas, who I don't believe have any Switch games out yet to begin with, and Nintendo themselves. So who knows how long? But who knows? Maybe someday we'll actually get a ranking here of games on the eShop, and Smash Brothers will be number 1 every month.
Yeah, right.
It probably will be for a until Pokemon comes out.
Yeah, it's just that like Smash Brothers is always Smash Brothers has been in the top 5 pretty much ever since it came out.
Yeah,
and that's without its digital sales being counted.
Oh wow!
Everyone is here. Also referring to everyone that's buying the game.
Yeah. But I think we have to give the GTA 5 award for the Switch to Breath of the Wild, which has now been out for 2 years plus a month in the NPD surveys, and it's been in the top 20 every month but one.
The only game I've ever seen have an attach rate above 100%.
Although at this point, I would have to think that GTA 5 is getting close, although it is split among 5 platforms, so maybe not.
I think it helps that it got a next-gen release.
Yeah, because GTA 5 has been in the top 20 for like 6 years now.
It's been out since 2013, so yeah.
I cannot believe that there are still human beings that don't own it.
Me? I don't like GTA.
I got the PS3 version.
Let me rephrase. Human beings that are interested in it that still don't own it. At a certain point, it's like physically, like you got to reach 100% of the interest rate, right?
At some point, it just downloads onto your system like that U2 album.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been dancing around it long enough here, but the final story of the week comes from Japan again, where on Thursday there was a concert being held in Tokyo celebrating the music of the Persona series,
which I've heard was a damn good concert.
Yeah.
I watched that live. I was up during that time. I didn't watch it. And now I kind of regret it
Yeah.
for many reasons, actually. Now that I think about it.
Although I think watching it outside of Japan was a bit of a bear.
Yeah,
I
I
was
think it was
doing my sister managed to do it. She got the premium Nico Nico account and managed to watch it live, and she said it was really good.
Yeah.
Lotus Juice was there, so
yeah. So they did the concert. They had also ran one the night before, which I think they played a lot of the same material on the second night. But at the end, they finally showed off the recently teased Persona 5S. It's a Persona 5 Muso game, and it's coming to the Switch, but not the original. And the reaction seemed to be first, oh my god, it's a Muso 2. This may not actually be that bad.
I saw a little bit of footage and it didn't look terrible. But I'm not into Muso games at all, so I'm not gonna get it. But
I mean, I will get it, and if it there's no way they'll do this, but my dream scenario is it's the entire Persona 5 story, like the original story, except instead of the palaces, you're doing a Warriors game.
that wouldn't be terrible. I kind of like that idea.
Since it's specifically called Persona 5 Scramble, and the trailer takes place at the Shibuya Scramble, I have a feeling it's going to be like weirdly centralized around like that one section of Tokyo,
which is pretty much but it's like the sort of Shibuya Scramble area, because isn't like Persona 5 itself is just outside of that, and
well, you can actually visit that spot in Persona 5 if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and there's a pretty big scene late in the game that happens there.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, like the fact that this isn't like Persona 5, the original game ported to Switch, the definitive edition of the game, given the other possibility of it being Persona 5 Royal, with its added focus on one character in particular.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah. So at this, there has to be something. I would think there has to be something almost contractual with those Persona 5 RPGs not coming off of PlayStation Sony systems, but at some point something's going to have to give here, because Persona 5, they still want, like, if Atlas wants to do a portable version of it, Sony doesn't have that system anymore.
Hey, I don't know. I got your portable version of Persona 5 right here. You just got to pick up yourself a PlayStation Vita, just like everyone has, right?
Yeah,
love my Vita.
I love my Vita too, but yeah, I've never been able to get that to work.
Me either. I've tried it a few times and it doesn't work for me at all.
Yeah, it's not good.
No.
Like you could, like if I so much as like turn it this way instead of this way, then it'll start artifacting everywhere because it doesn't have a perfect connection to my router anymore. I can't even use it at work. It only works at home.
Maybe I would give it a try now because my internet's not as bad as it was a few years ago, but I still feel like none of that streaming stuff works well with my internet connection.
It's real bad. It's like the only reason it works at all is because the input lag, the latency is also real bad too. I could only do. I used this a little bit when Persona 5 first came out because I was obsessed with the game and just could not be away from it for more than a couple hours. And Breath of the Wild was the month before, so I was used to being able to play games wherever I wanted, and I dealt with it. But I couldn't play. I couldn't play the palace sequences on it because the latency was just way too bad. I couldn't effectively ambush the enemies.
Yeah, it's those are the pain.
But it looks real good on a portable screen. At least I can tell you that much.
That's something.
Yeah, I'm just, the other thing I'm worried about aside from how long is Persona 5 Scramble going to be, but how much DLC is this game going to have?
Too much.
Like
Lot.
like we got an email today from Atlas regarding Persona Q2, which comes out in 3DS
Yeah,
in
I saw
June,
that.
and it's a $40 US game that, if my math is correct, has about $54 of DLC on day one.
Oh my gosh.
But that's Q, Persona Q.
Yeah, Persona Q2.
Yeah.
What the hell can you?
I am thinking that this is like pretty much the last 3DS game, unless there's other games I'm not thinking about.
There are literally 2 3DS games announced for Japan this year, and one of them I don't even think has a release date.
Yeah, this
It's
is virtually one of the last titles.
Yeah,
So
believe,
I'm thinking that Atlas is just going to nickel and dime this for as much as they can towards the Persona fans, and they make off it. They make off.
They haven't they're not doing an English dub for this game either for Persona Q2.
I didn't know.
But yeah, you can get I think it's like 18 different sub personas which go on the characters. Battle background music, navigators, including the prison guards from P5, and then there's your typical, experience and money boosters and some item sets. One of which is free, thankfully.
Well, there's that at least.
Although they do point out that the battle background music will be free for the first month, which is realistically about all the sales are going to get for that game. So that'll knock $9 off that bill, but it is still more expensive than the base game, unless you're getting the premium edition.
It worked for Fire Emblem, I guess.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of the. I was not a fan of the fact that the DLC for Shadows of Valentia, if you bought all of it, was $65 Canadian.
Wow.
Yeah.
When the game was 50.
It was
DLC costing more than the base game. It sounds just really bad. I don't like that.
Look forward to my Mortal Kombat review.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat. If you want to buy every item in Mortal Kombat 11, you apparently have to spend $6,440. Persona 5 Scramble, which between Atlas and the DLC that goes into every Musou game, hold my beer.
Yeah, I bet.
I feel like it's fair if like a game has had a long enough life. Like if a game has been getting consistent DLC for like 2 years, then maybe the asking price is worth it to be over the cost of the game. But when you're launching day one, asking for more money than the game was, that's a different story.
Sounds like Dead or Alive 6.
Oh, God.
I think I heard about that too.
Don't get me started on Dead or Alive 6. That game doesn't even have friend lobbies yet.
Oh, jeez.
But they have what, $90 worth of DLC? $93 for the season pass?
Sure do. Yeah, but they do have a free-to-play version that you can download to test it out and realize immediately, why am I bothering with this if I can't play with my friends?
I never heard of a fire that didn't have a friend lobby.
So there are friend lobbies on the PC version via a glitch.
Oh, that's nice.
So
PC
you're telling me
probably already $12 or something too.
I bet you didn't expect someone to have a worse online system than Nintendo.
That takes real effort.
Koei Tecmo, who by the way are also helping with the development of Fire Emblem Three Houses.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
This is not fine.
So you're going to have like Camilla with Dead or Alive physics?
I mean, she already did.
Oh, she did already? See, I don't play those games, so okay. I just look at the Fire Emblem Heroes pictures that people send me.
I could put you off your rocker there with the Spring Loki.
Oh my God! Remove Loki. I feel the same about Fire Emblem Heroes as I do about Persona 5. Remove Loki.
We could ship Loki and Akechi together, put them in a bomb in a sealed chamber, and then bury it in the bottom of the sea.
We're in the worst timeline here for anime games.
So, question in the chat room: Xenoblade Warriors when? Well, I think there's enough fan service that I think they could get away with that. But I think, let's see, we've turned. Let's see, we've got Fire Emblem, we've got Hyrule, we got Legend of Zelda, we've got Persona now. Yeah, I think Xenoblade might be next on the Omega Force hit list.
I can see that.
I could see that too.
Although Zach, help me out here. There is a Senran Kagura Muso, right?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
There's a Nep Muso game.
Hard pass.
Senran just has the main series of brawlers, and then there's a rhythm game and a pinball game coming up, and then kind of a third-person, their version of third-person shooter.
And also whatever the hell that Reflections game is.
Oh, God.
Yes.
The only one that I've deleted from a machine.
Did they give you all the DLC for that, by the way?
No, I haven't gotten any DLC. I'm not going to get it. Although they did just come out with like more mini games, which is what I wanted in the review. I was like, you get through these in like one session, and they're adding more after the game's been out for what, 6 months?
Apparently Senran Kagura Burst is supposed to be like a Muso game, but no, that doesn't seem
That's
right.
the 3DS game now. I mean, they're brawlers.
But not like 3D brawler with gratuitous leveling systems like you would see in a Warriors game.
No, you do level up, but I mean, you don't go through like hundreds and hundreds of enemies.
All right. So, anything else we need to cover off this week, chat room, or shall we bring this to a close and see how quickly this video is going to get demonetized on YouTube?
This is outside the normal wheelhouse because I think I'm the only person on the site that cares about competitive Smash. But I just want to say how wild it is that someone threw a crab at one of the competitors.
What?
Yeah, there was which tournament was it that was in Maryland where you could easily get a crab?
About this.
What was the name of it? It was Pound. It was Pound. Hungry Box. He's like the Roman Reigns of Smash Brothers right now. He keeps winning and everyone hates him for it. And when he won the tournament, someone threw an actual raw crab at him.
Who's his main?
Jigglypuff. This is in Melee.
I heard of that.
I approve.
I need to watch the video. I heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
It's actually like legitimately like a really awful thing for someone to do because it could have actually hurt him, but he was not harmed. So I can just sit here being like, "What the hell? Someone threw a crab on stage at someone."
Like, why would there be a crab there?
Maryland.
Yeah, like crab is a pretty common. It's
Go
like,
down to the beach and grab one,
or wherever they have the game at.
So it gets even wilder. The crab did not belong to the person who threw it. The crab was stolen because there was a tweet. There was like a picture of like someone who just had a crab sitting on the chair next to him because he just brought the crab with him. And then the video of like the person throwing it was a different person entirely.
Was it like a pet crab?
It wasn't. It didn't look that big from.
It wasn't alive.
Oh,
I was just about to ask.
Yeah, it was not a live crab. It was once alive. It was a real crab, but it was not alive.
Wow.
But like,
are they gonna like cook it there?
you might be able to get that at a convention center in Maryland.
Maybe.
I mean, but really, forget who throws a shoe. Who throws a crab?
So, and the very next day, Hungrybox went on his Twitch stream, and he cooked and ate the crab on stream.
Nice.
Oh.
The only thing that would have made that better is if he then started playing Genji Days of the Blade.
But that's my biggest news of the week.
Crab is very good. I like crab. I rarely have it, but it's good.
Yes, and the Reverend Meat Toad says that yes, crabs and Old Bay are super popular in Maryland. So,
Well, when we go to PAX East in Boston, we always go to that. What is
Chinese
that?
place.
Yeah, no, the no name, the seafood, no name
Oh.
seafood place on the pier, and
Okay.
they have excellent seafood, including crab.
Yeah, but I mean, you're also getting like that fresh Atlantic lobster and all that. So I didn't get a chance to go there with when I made my one trip to PAX East, but
Yeah, we didn't go that year. I forget why.
Yeah,
We didn't go this year either.
Oh, really?
I wonder if the
Okay.
place may not even be open at this point.
I kind of said like I don't like seafood, so you guys can go ahead, but I'm going to duck out if we go there. So we didn't end up going there.
That's how I am with the dim sum.
I like seafood, but I haven't had crab or lobster actually.
Oh, dude, get some lobster. Go to Costco, grab some tails, man.
Yeah, I need to try it sometime.
I might have to smuggle some. I've heard of people like packing lobster. The problem is I don't think I'll have room in my suitcase for like some Atlantic lobster to bring with me to E3. Maybe I'll smuggle in some pepperoni, some of our local pepperoni though.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, but if we're making food plans for E3, I think we'll wind it down for the night. But plugs first. Of course, patreon.com/NWR, support the site that supports us. Fun fact, if you go back in the archives far enough on the Patreon, you can actually find a Persona 5 review that I wrote in 2017.
I remember that.
Yeah, Zach actually edited that one for me.
Yeah.
And I would love an excuse to post that on the live website, but Atlas is not coming through for me on this. But there's also exclusive podcasts there, including, and you can play along with us. I believe the patron plays game this month is Cuphead.
I just bought it.
Cool.
I might try to stream that, but I'm not very good at video games.
I'm not good at video games, and I'm not good at Cuphead. So I played the Xbox version, and yeah, I appreciate anybody who actually can clear that.
I'll probably stick to Final Fantasy X for now, but yeah, maybe someday I'll dive into Cuphead and see how it goes. Of course, NintendoWorldReport.com has all sorts of news, reviews. We have our Labo VR impressions will be going up there very shortly for the Zelda and Mario updates that came out last night. And
that's right.
And the Mario Odyssey one you can apparently do in about 20 minutes.
The Breath of the Wild one works when docked for some reason.
All you're doing is putting little circles around the screen.
I tried it out docked. I had it running on my TV. I crossed my eyes to get the full 3D.
Oh my god!
It ran at a better frame rate than it does in handheld mode. And I'm gonna level with you. It was kind of cool. And then I finished. I was like, wow, my eyes hurt. That was a terrible idea. Don't do that. Do not do this.
Yes, of course, and be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell because the YouTube subscriptions are about as consistent as Atlas's DLC policies.
Leave a comment on the video so that the algorithm likes us and we get good search engine optimization.
Yes,
yeah, what he said. Computers.
All right. And if you want to follow us on the socials, the site itself is at Nintendo_NWR. I am at NWR Donald. Zach is at ZMiller1902. Brian is at BR26. And Matt, help me out here.
Grimace Duminis.
That's Grimace, like the expression I made when Persona 5 did not come to Switch.
Grimace, it's like Grimace the McDonald's character. But it's also like it was named after Dennis the Menace, so it was Grimace the Menace. But then it's also like the word "the" it was cut down to "du" so that would fit in Twitter's character limit for names. So
I preferred the Darkrai name.
Don't say that to me.
Easier to spell.
Don't say that to me. So I might be changing it anyway. Soon I might be going with Mr. Wakusei Zebus. Because I thought the file name structure for Smash Ultimate was just really funny and made it my username.
All right, and All right, so that'll do it. We will see you. Well, Japan's on vacation right now, so I don't know how much news we're gonna get next week, but we'll try to fit something in anyway.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.